Hi everyone, thanks for being with me. There's an issue that has arisen in relation to Peter Dutton and his finances. Now, I need to say at the outset that I don't necessarily care about how much money Peter Dutton has or whether Anthony Albanese has bought a $4 million home on the Central Coast. I mean, I don't care. I don't care. What I do care about is the way that it has been reported. Because it could be that Peter Dutton used his position in order to gain the system when it came to some financial issues that were being debated by the Liberal Party and government at that particular time. Now, if he did do that, then he has an issue to answer. But whether he did or not, I guess still remains to be seen. And there's two sides of this story that I'm going to try and tell you. And the first one is, I'll just take you to this article where it is clear that Peter Dutton has said that there's no issue whatsoever for Peter, which is fair enough. He's entitled to say that. Opposition leader Peter Dutton has launched a strident defence of the wealth he's accumulated through his property and share portfolio, saying he's unapologetic about the facts and he's been successful in business. And I guess because the implication is that because you've been successful in business, you should be successful in politics. I think if we look at the Donald Trump experience, we know that this isn't necessarily true. I've only ever acted with integrity, he told reporters before explaining he bought his first property with his father when he left school. They've trawled through every transaction of my entire adult life and they've come up with the fact that we've bought and sold properties. Now, Peter, I don't know if that is specifically the issue here. He goes on to say, I've been proud of what my family and I have been able to achieve, and I think the Australian people want somebody who knows how to make money, who knows how to manage the economy. I've demonstrated that as Assistant Treasurer. Now, according to the 9 newspapers, the opposition leader failed to declare that he had sold 2 properties under federal parliament's disclosure laws more than 2 decades ago, while Mr Dutton conceded some paperwork had not been submitted on time. He said there's nothing consequential in that. If the Prime Minister has some claim to make, don't get his lackeys to push it out there. Get up and make the claim yourself. Well, all I can say to all of that is welcome to politics. It's the way it is, and Dutton, you've got to learn to suck it up, I'm afraid. So to follow this through, there are 2 things I want to talk about. One is Sarah Ferguson's interview with a Labor minister on the other day, which highlighted where Labor coming from in relation to this. And then there's the Chris Kenny one, which I will also play you in just a moment. But firstly, let's have a look at what Sarah has to say about all of this, because I really actually think this is quite fascinating.
The opposition leader is being questioned about banking shares he purchased during the global financial crisis. Earlier this week, News.com reported that Peter Dutton bought shares in several big banks shortly before the Labor government announced a major funding boost for the banks in 2009. Today, Mr Dutton denied any wrongdoing.
I've not received any information that has influenced any share transaction, either selling or buying, that I've made, or the purchase of any property or other asset class or type where I've been privy to any information other than what is publicly available.
Andrew Charlton is a Labor MP. In 2009, he was an economic advisor to Prime Minister Kevin Rudd. He joined me earlier. Andrew Charlton, welcome to 7:30.
Thank you.
Now, you were an advisor to the Rudd government during the global financial crisis. First of all, your reaction when you learned that Peter Dutton had bought and sold bank shares during the crisis?
My jaw fell to the floor.
Why?
Because I was there. I was there at that time and I saw the Australian economy on fire. I saw the Australian share market fall by more than 60%, destroying wealth for millions of Australians. And most importantly, I saw every Australian political leader the government, the opposition, public servants, working every single day tirelessly to save Australia and...
Okay, so we've got the impression here that it's important for the Labor Party. Now, this is one of those issues where I actually don't want to take sides because I don't think I really care. But I thought I would just highlight the key issue here, which is all about optics, and it's about playing the political game. So Chris Kenny thought he'd be a smart ass, and he would get a couple of people on. So one of them is Liz Story and some other bloke. I haven't got that much time for Liz, but occasionally she comes out with some gems, and I think she did on this occasion, because what happens here, and I want you to observe, is that Chris is anticipating that these two people will support his point of view. Now, I would suggest that if you have a specific point of view, Chris, and you want it to be validated, you make sure that the people that you've got on actually are prepared to do just that. Because in this instance, I think, and you decide yourself, but I think in this particular instance, he makes a grave mistake. Let me know what you think.
Let's wrangle with Liz Storer.
Let's go.
Co-host of The Late Debate with me on set, and author, broadcaster and general man about Melbourne, Justin Smith, joins us from that great city as well. How about this, hey? We got the dirt file being unloaded on Peter Dutton. It's kind of predictable, Liz. This is basically how they got rid of ScoMo, with personal attacks, and they're struggling against Dutton. They're trailing in the polls, so they're just going the man.
Yeah, it's an election year. This is par for the course. Horses for courses. The Libs would be doing exactly the same thing if the shoe were on the other foot. This is what the parties do. And hey, if you've got it, you've got it. They know that they can ride on the back. And this is actually a sad fact about Aussies and our tall poppy syndrome. They can ride on the fact that there will be people who are jealous and despise Dutton for having been so successful with such a property portfolio, even though he's like, hey, I bought my first one in high school, like, give me a break. We started young and we've reaped the benefits. That is something that should be celebrated. That is something that's just like, oh, good for you, mate. You got in while the going was good. But they know that they can rely on a certain percentage of the population to be like, well, this stinks. But what actually does stink, I think, are those banking shares that he purchased previously. No share trading.
Watch out, Chris. You did not see this coming
Whatsoever. Hadn't purchased any shares, and then the day before the government bailed out.
No, that's rubbish. That's rubbish. Hey, I was around then. There were banking guarantees and supports for the banks being made every month at that time, and that was all in the paper.
Go for it. You two go.
Now, the interesting thing is so Chris now turns to this other dude who he believes is going to support him and is in for a surprise.
But
that
the
is nonsense.
timing seems miraculous.
No,
that is the day you decided to wait.
No. The first
The day before the
I've got to give
right
Justin a go.
government
I've got to give Justin a go. But the fact is, banking guarantees came in months earlier and kept being upgraded all the way through that period. Justin, this has got to backfire on Labor, isn't it? Because it also it brings people straight back, surely, to Copacabana and the beach house on the cliff. I mean, it's horses for courses.
Yeah. I was enjoying that little tussle there. You didn't have to stop it on my account, mate. And I actually agree wholeheartedly with Liz. Aren't we sort of blowing this?
Boom, boom. Bad luck, Chris. He got sucked in. Oh, this is just so good.
Blowing this out of proportion here. This is a little bit all part of the rough and tumble of what you do in an election campaign. And let's not forget the office that Peter Dutton is going for here. He wants to become Prime Minister. Name me a Prime Minister that we didn't test out and ask these questions of and try and dig away. And yes, it is actually the job. Look, let's call this an election campaign. We're in one right now. It's the job of the Labor Party to go after the Liberal Party and back the other way. Isn't that what we want? Isn't that what we want them to do?
Well, no, not with a dirt file. They've got to stack it up, and it is a dirt
file. Not with a dirt file. Liberal Party would never have a dirt file on their opposition. No, they wouldn't. They have Sky News instead. It's a classic. And I think in just a moment, Chris eventually gets really sick of all of this. And so he pivots to another issue. But I think it's a classic. First rule, if you're interviewing somebody, is to know what they're going to be talking about. It's like if you want the right answer, if you want to look for a specific answer, ask the right question, but know what they're going to say. And in this case, Chris had no idea. So we've got, where do I stand on all of this? Well, actually, I don't think I care. I just don't. Good on Dutton. He's made a lot of money. His father helped him out. Fair enough. Why not? Lots of parents do that for their kids. He was able to make a lot of money for it. He invested in the right places, which is daycare centres. He's bought a stack of properties. He's now worth $100 million or whatever it might be. Who knows? Who really cares? But did he use... So the question still remains, did he use his knowledge and insider information around what's happening with the banks to further benefit his own financial situation? Well, that is the question. And if he did, that was wrong. So let's separate the two. Who cares how much money he's got? But whether he used his position in order to reward himself financially is the crux of the issue. So let me know what you think in the comment sections below. And as I always say, remember to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications. Do whatever you need to do. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.